Hello, good evening, everybody. Welcome to our session. That is, do not neglect the already neglected remedy. So it's 8:19. Most of us had been most of participant had been joined. So we'll start. First, I would like to be thankful to my mentors, Dr. Jayant Rugani and Dr. Prashant Shah, who had been taught me edge of the homeopathy. Then definitely we will remember and our regards to our master, Dr. Samuel Henneman, and our beloved guru, Lion of Homeopathy, Dr. Praful Vijaykar sir. Then I would like to be thankful to my leader who is teaching us how to deal the difficult cases, pathological cases. Our leader, beloved Amrish sir. And I am thankful to all the team, Rajkot and Surat predictive team, Happy Gujarat team, especially the academic leader, Dr. Jitesh Chosalia, Dr. Dharmeshbhai Varsani, Dr. Suketu Sastri, Dr. Amit Gohel, my friends, Dr. Ashish Shah, Nirav Manseta, Dr. Priyul Shah, and right now my support team, Dr. Sakti Rakholia and Dr. Jay Saravaya, and of course Madhuram Panara, who had been given me technical support. I myself, Dr. Vimal Raj, and practicing homeopathy since last 15 years at the two places near the Bhaktinagar Circle and the Amin Marg. And I'm also visiting to the Gondal. So let us start with our case. Initially, we will go for the some psoric cases. Then we will move for the psychosis and syphilis. So it is a case of allergic rhinitic consulted on 11th of March 2023. The 5 years female child residing at the Gondal, suffering from respiratory problem. She used to get nose blockage, dry coughing, paroxysmal cough, and need to be hospitalized, need to be nebulizer and the steroids and all these things. Though she was not improving, and along with that, many at times developed too much weakness, and that's why they consulted to us. Physical general hepatitis increase. It may be due to because of some medications like steroidal medications. Then thirsty, desire pica since 1.5 years. Perspiration more on scalp, feels more sleepy, maybe because of some kinds of medications. Thermally, she was hot. So these are the physical dispositions. Let us see her life space. The child was much playful and extroverted earlier, that means before the medication. Then after the illness and after the medications become much more irritable, obstinate, and started to behaving rude. And she also developed one typical thing that she used to fall down while walking. That awkwardness also developed after the medications. She used to be too much cranky on the slightest reproach, and she lost interest in her study after the illness, or it may be because of the medication. Then you used to take too many excuses in study, used to make mistakes in writing. She misplaces word like 6 in place of 9, and even after repeated correction, she was becoming more and dull, more become less interested in study. Usually, she was very much irritated and angry to the father, and actually, he was her stepfather. She used to hit him And she even used to interfere in the parents' disputes. And she took mother's side always. She scolded her father and said, just you go away from us. And she always against the father in the disputes. Now, all the problems that was started after the birth of her stepbrother. She was very much demanding, could not mix with any child anywhere. When she go with any in any kinds of functions, she remained alone, became too much introverted. The parents, because of her behavior, now parent used to close her in the terrace room where she became too much angry, shrieking and screaming. So let's look at the mother's history during pregnancy. What happened? That uh, the problem that in the first marriage, the mother was pregnant. That means that our child was in the womb. And at that time, the husband didn't came to meet at her parental home. So till date, the patient's real father didn't seen. And mother told that I should give birth to the male child. If it was a male child, it may possible my first husband came to meet me. So there was a pain there. These are the painful stories behind all these things. And during pregnancy, she took the divorce and then remarried. Now, girl used to say, if you scold me more, I will tell to Lord Krishna and he will punish you. Now, think about disposition and entry point. We'll go quickly, and I would like to take your sharings. So, irritated, cranky, hurt everyone, this kind of child. You may think about some remedy. You may have some kinds of the notion in your brain that this may be medicine, this may be medicines. Yes, lycopodium, suggestion from Dr. Umesh. She used to threaten, let Lord Krishna will punish you. Any other? Okay, keep those points in your mind. Yes, one doctor who suggested stramonium because of the crankiness. Now we'll switch to mother's case. The girl improved drastically with our medicines, and that's why we got the case of her mother within near about 1 month on the 14th of April 2023. So just go in the history of mother. Remember the history of the child also. The mother, 27 years female, she was suffering from tendo since 5 to 4 months. Pulsating pain gradually increasing with numbness, difficult to walk, taken too many medications, too many painkillers. In between, she also developed too much weakness, and on investigation, it was less hemoglobin. That means we can compare that where the love is missing. The hemoglobin was too much low in between, and she used to fall down. The pain increase in the winter. The past history of GERD, 15 years of age. She used to suffer from migraine about 8 to 10 years of age, and the migraine remained even for 2 to 3 years of age. Her mother had a psychiatric problem, and paternal uncle had schizophrenia. And she has one younger brother. Obstetric history, gravida 3, and the first that was induced abortion. Second, that was our first case. The girl child used to suffer from bronchitis, and the step brother, that is third. She got the PPH after second delivery. Now the personal history, again, she got trembling on empty stomach, fasting aggravation, thirsty, and in the she also had the history of recurrent UTI and dark offensive menses. She is chilly by thermal. Now, when we look at her life space, what happened with her? That she became too much reactive. Initially, she used to tolerate much. and used to adjust. But gradually she became much more reactive after the too many incidents in her married life. What happened in the first marriage? Husband do not support her in any kinds of the family issue. And he used to always scold her. Sorry, there was some technical glitch. So she became depressed and took the divorce. So she took divorce. And in the second marriage, what happened? Husband is much aggressive. He do not give much care, love, and attention. So what do you think in that case? Just keep in your mind. So the problem with the mother in the first marriage, in the second marriage. Now I asked that mother that now what will you do with these kinds of the life? What are your feelings? She said that I have to manage anyhow, and in that answer, she started to laugh and weep simultaneously. So this was a strange behavior. Now, what happened with her in the childhood? She brought up at the maternal aunt's home, at the Masi's home. What happened? As we said earlier, the mother was psychiatric patient. So father gave her to maternal aunt. And she said that it may happen that if I was a boy, then my parents keep with them because my younger brother was with my father from very earlier age. And I am girl, that's why I have to go to my maternal aunt's home. And then again she weep and laugh. Now, what was the life there? The Masi used to torture her, beat her. There was a too much restriction, and she said the typical word. It was just like a caged bird. My life is just like a bird who is caged. I cannot do anything with my wish. She said that I took the birth in the wrong family. Then after the second marriage, life still same, and I have to work. Though I am ill, I have to manage homely affairs and all these things. She was much anxious, worried about the girl child, the patient of bronchitis. Now that was a history and the story in the second patient. So up till now we've seen the two cases. The first case that is of girl bronchitis, and the second that is her mother who was suffering from tendo achilis. Now we'll move forward. That is a third case. Now you have to keep these minds. What are the similarities between those cases? And you can give me any suggestion if you can share anything if you want to. So that is a third case. That is a case of hypothyroidism. 34 years female, married at Rajkot. She was basically belongs to the Maharashtra, and she's working as an accountant in bank. What was her problem? She was suffering from hypothyroidism since 2001. And though she was in under the medication that is Thyronome 125, she had too much swelling around the thyroid lobe, weakness, mood swings. She was much sleepy. and developed swelling around the face. And she said that body respond karwanu ban kar diya. I cannot do anything. I cannot manage anyhow. And all the reports, though normal, she was having she used to do the reports every 6 months for thyroid, but all the reports were normal. But those she had too many problems: weight gain, fatigue, hair fall, all the common symptoms of thyroid gland. The accessory problem, that means other problem, that since the puberty she have difficulty in menstruation, irregular menses, much vomiting, diarrhea, painful menses, pain in the feet, hands, and it becomes cold. The menses was offensive and difficult to wash off, aggravation before menses and improve after the menses, and become frustrated, do not like to speak to anyone due to the pain, see a history of recurrent boil, chicken pox, and worm infestation and jaundice. Physical generals, excessive appetite again, and thirsty, menses offensive, leukorrhea offensive, dark clotted menses, sleepy, more on the left side. And one strange dream that she used to get repeatedly, that I am losing somebody from my family. And basically she was chilly, and due to the thyroid also we can consider hypothyroidism is too much, that's why she is chilly, so we'll not consider the thermal here. Now our life space and mental general, keep in mind the all the previous two cases. Her father died when she was around only 2 years of age. Now it was mystery that how her father died. It may be it can be suicide or it can be murder, because father was in one kind of a scam, and it may be possible she didn't know exactly what happened with him. And at the same time, mother was pregnant, so she and her mother that used to remain alone at the home could not go outside because of too much threatening atmosphere. Now, patient brought to Nani's place, maternal grandmother's home, because after the birth of the second child, her mother sent to her Nani's home. So now again, some problem in the childhood. She was much attached to Nani and came back to home around teenage. So she remained there till her in teenage. Now, what happened? How the journey of the disease was there? I asked her. So she said in the high school, it was some kinds of the vaccination given to every girl. And after that, I developed the jaundice, and then I lost the interest in study. I feel repeatedly drowsy and lethargic, and gradually became dull. And on the reports, it was like she got the too much anemia, low, and the hypothyroidism. And from there, she switched on to the Thyronome tablet. Now, what was the feeling on those days? I said, she said, father was absent. So nobody was there nearby us. We are far away from our other relatives. And I felt constantly in my life that something is missing in my life. And I am disconnected to something. I am not connected to everyone. Mother didn't like me. Till date, she used to say, you should born like a boy. You should born as a boy. Sister told you are selfish. Her younger sister told you are selfish. So now the problem with mother and sister both. Now, why the sister told that? Because she did love marriage through Facebook and went to Gujarat. And the marriage was against wish of sister and mother. So they have a less communication, and they do not like to communicate with our patient. Mother didn't. Now the another, I asked about what are the another painful histories in her life. She said on the last days of my nanny, to whom I was much attached, my mother didn't allow me to meet her. And while telling those stories, she started to weep. And I was much attached to my nanny because I brought up by her. And my mother didn't allow me to see her even in her last days. And everyone to whom I am attached, they are going away from me. That was one feeling. I do not like to break relationship, but I don't know what is the truth in the life. What is the truth of relationship? How to manage relationship? Now, can you remember the dream that something is going away, someone are going from my life? She did love marriage, as I said earlier. So sister and the mother was not in communication much more. Now, what happened in the in-laws house? Again, she faced many problems. And husband do not give much support, so feels lonely. She do not argue with anyone. Too much anxiety about husband, daughter, and mother. Even she was anxious about mother. Those mother was not in communication with her because there was one feeling that to whom I attach, my nearby are going away from me. So that's why she became much anxious. The fear of darkness, being alone. As per her husband, when I asked her husband that what kind of attitude she has, husband told me that she is very much impulsive. She used to take decision very quickly, and she used to behave something like quickly. We cannot predict what she will do, when she will do. And because of her behavior, we have a problem in our house. And because of her this behavior, that she suddenly speaks something like that, my mother offended, and there was a dispute in house. And she became much more sensitive, and she was reactive as per husband. Now, those are the three story with you. What are the common trait you have to go for this? Any suggestion? Chat box. Unfortunate feeling, yes. All of have unfortunate feeling. You can think about delusion, unfortunate, forsaken feeling. Very good. Right now we are on the track. Forsaken feeling, abandoned feeling. Yes, right. Then what is the common trait in our story? The girl, bronchitis, mother, tendo Achilles, and this patient of hypothyroidism. Abused, okay. Abandoned feeling, losing loved ones, this kind of fear, yes. Disappointment with everyone. Orphan feeling, very good. And with the orphan feeling, you can have one image of materia medica, neglected, unwanted. Yes, very good. Dr. Umesh said father is missing in all three stories. Very good. That is the essential point. Lacking attachment, Dr. Pragna said, feeling neglected, wanted son. Yes, mother had a feeling of they want a son. That is one of the common traits, as Dr. Kusum said. Yes, anyone? Any medication, any medicines, any thoughts in your mind? Confusion, identity. Here we do not have too much kinds of the syphilis, so we cannot go in that rubric right now. Confusion of identity. Yes, needs support in all these cases. Yes, emotional support specifically. Lycinum, okay, but lycinum usually feels too much angry. You can think about leccan rather than lycinum. Magnesium, yes, Dr. Rohini, good suggestion. Dr. Mansi, good suggestion. Magnesium. Yes, Sunny said Ignatia. Good. In the first case, bronchitis, Netromure, okay, good. Attach and detach feeling, solanacy, very good, Dr. Pragna. attach and detach. It can be also the Malwell family, attach and detach, chocolate. Kali muriaticum, I don't know how you Kali muriaticum. That meant that yes. Okay, I will go for the this repetrization seat. Melendrinum, okay. Cyclamen. Here the patient are reactive, not autoimmune like cyclamen. So look at this case of hypothyroidism. Earlier, I used to give one kind of form to fill up my patient. Now, just go through the this 14 numbers question. Do you like any company or like to remain alone? She said that being alone is a fearful fear for me. 19th question. What do you think when you are alone? She said that what about the kids who do not have a parent in bracket orphan, and why injustice to good people? About my dad, how he died, my nanny and mom. She said this. You can have a magnesia theme, right? Now the common features we discussed. The problem is born and brought up, neglected, dejected feeling. Yes. Father figure is disturbed, as Dr. Umesh said. In all these cases, the repetrization of the first case, baby who was suffering from bronchitis, delusion, deserted, forsaken, mistakes making, writing in letters. It is syphilitic condition. Intellect is disturbed. So I took in the consideration of that rubric, mistakes making in writing in letters, and obstinate behavior and company aversion to solitude desire for. She used to remain alone. Do not mix with any child, even in the playground. The second case, repetization, her mother, weeping, tearful mood alternating with laughing, a strange behavior. Syphilitic entry and delusion, deserted, forsaken, we have. And the third case of hypothyroidism, impetuous, impulsive behavior, delusion, friend, beloved one's affection has lost, fear alone, as she wrote in the form, vomiting before menses, that is physical keynote, menses difficult to wash off, and delusion, last one, delusion, imagination, lose someone dear in the dream. Now, what is the common medicine? What you see, it might possible many of you came to just look at those chart. Many of you came to pulsatilla, but yes, as Dr. Mahesh said, we neglect often one great remedy, and that is Hura brasiliensis. That is common in all these three cases. So all these cases had been given that medicine, Hura, the child, mother, and case of hypothyroidism. And all these cases marvelously improved with Hura. Child cured with that, mother cured with that, and the patient who was on Thyronum 125, gradually we reduced to the 35 and she much improved. So the Hura brasiliensis, let us study about that medicine. We usually neglect that neglected medicine, which having neglected feeling. That's why I make a title like it is a neglected remedy in our repetrization in our materia medica. As per Dr. Sankaran, it belongs to the Euphorbiaceae family and leprous miasm. Keywords like tied, untied, bound, unbound, entangle, being in a straight jacket, separate and separated from, that is a main entry. Disentangle yourself, get away from anything, desire to break free, condemned by being bound. she used to get condemnation. Yes, Dr. Kajal said, ask one question that in case why choose two delusions related to losing someone? In which case, the thyroid cases, in thyroid cases, it was a one strong dream and repeated feeling, patient said. And she was sent to the maternal grandmother's home. So this condemned by being bound, that is euphorbiasia plus leprosy. Leprosy, what happened? Usually people do not like to touch the leprous patient. They feel forsaken, isolated. And in earlier days, the patient who used to suffer from leprosy, they sent away from society, just outside the village. It is one stigma. And people used to believe it was a punishment from God. They did some kind of sin, some kinds of bad act in their past life, some wrong deed. And that's why they used to suffer from that problem. So people do not touch them. And leprosy is contracted by the victim of witchcraft, and that witches themselves to have it. That was one kind of thought also in the society. And that's why you had been seen in some Hollywood movie the story of witch. They remain outside the society, outside the village, and one hut is there, and people do not like to go nearby that area. And if that witch enters inside the village, people used to burn them, kill, kill them. So it is a too much rejection, repudiated, neglected. And these kind of people used to do some kinds of the herbals, kind of medications, some voodoo or magical things. They used to, it had been also said they used to drink a child's blood so they will recover. So those kind of wrong kind and the false belief were there. And that's why they even become cruel. And we can say in this medicine at the last also, this is syphilitic phase because of the leprosy feeling. So this is leprosy cast away. In theory of chronic disease, Dr. Henneman also said how he evolved to the theory of Sora. He had been given 5 points, 5 logical points. We knew that 5 logical points about how we discovered the miasm, the great discovery. And he said that old chronic miasma of leprosy and itch, merely descendants of one of the same monstrous original malady and an innumerable form of symptoms. He said, we knew from the organon and theory of chronic disease. The Occidental Sora during the Middle Age had raged European for the several centuries in a form of malignant erysipelas called Saint Anthony's fire. The name had been given. And from these things, Dr. Henneman evolved to the theory of Sora, that the patient by returning again and again with the same problem or returning with some another difficulties, there was some blockage either in them or their ancestor life. And then he evolved to the theory of Sora from the leprosy. Now, just we will go to the one video. This is a tree of Hura, known also as Asaku sandbox monkey no climb tree. Typically, we will go to the video and you will know about this plant.
This is the Hura crepitans, also known as the sandbox tree. From a distance, it looks like a regular large tree. But a closer look, you know this is a special tree. The trunk is covered with long, sharp spikes that secret poisonous sap. On contact with your skin, the sap will cause a nasty. Fishermen have been said to use the milky caustic sap from this tree to poison fish, and the Caribs would make arrow poison from its sap. In order to scatter its seeds, this pumpkin-shaped seed capsules would explode with a loud bang, splitting into segments and launching the seeds at a speed of 250 kilometers per hour, dispersing them as far as 50 meters away from the tree. This is the reason why this tree is also called the dynamite tree.
So something is clear. Have you got the idea? Would you like to see this video again? There are some typical features, or I should go ahead. Just observe the spike, why people go away, the dynamite. Would you like to repeat, or I will move ahead? Okay. Okay, we'll move ahead. So why the people go away from that tree? It was also known as dynamite tree. People used to keep distance from this tree. Why? Because the seed dispersal technique is very strange. When the fruit dried up, it fall from the height and it blast. With the speed of about 250 kilometers per hour, it blast. And the seeds that thrown away to too much distance. And if you are nearby that tree, the seeds can injure you. It can injure you and it can even pierce in your body. So that's why people used to keep away and make a distance from that tree. Another thing we seen on the trunk, why it is known as monkey no climb tree. Monkey used to climb every tree, but the spike that present on the trunk, those are very much poisonous, this spike, and it also used as an arrow poison. And that's why if you got injury from this spike, if you touch, then develop too much irritation and gastric problem and the poisonous condition, and even person can die. And another thing that it looks very weird. If you had been carefully seen the video, it was very much weird. Uh, yes, one said in the Gujarati, I don't know exactly Gujarati meaning of that plant, but it may be. In India, it is known as jabilo. In earlier days, for medicine, it was used. The juice was used for purgatives, emetics, even for rheumatism. People used to take this juice and externally for leprosy lesion and also for the worm infestation. Now, this is leprous filling how developed in this plant of the Euphorbiaceae family. What are the other members of that family? Like Crotontic, Ecalifa indica, Euphorbia, Jatropha, Mancinella, Ricinus. So most of them are, you can see, are purgatives and gastric irritants. They produce too much gastric irritation and gastric motility. They are poisonous, effect more on the GI. And the common theme that there is a tendency of lot of tension, constriction, oppression, it builds up in the system and it bursts out violently from any outlet, from the physical, like gushing diarrhea, all of these we have, like croton and the castor oil, jatropha. And on the mental level, when burst out, it produces insanity because it closes the intellect. It causes insanity. What we seen in our first patient, intellect gone, became awkward, became too much cranky. There is a bursting of this reasoning power. In the second case, the mother was too much emotionally frustrated and laughing and weeping. Again, intellect disturbed. And in the third case of hypothyroidism, what we seen, the lady was impulsive, react sometimes impetuously. So it is a losing a top. It causes a breakdown at the mental level also. And even Farrington said that this patient used to suffer from even acne vulgaris, and when acne come burst out, the punctum throw, just like a gun, it protrude out. This kind of acne vulgaris, if you find where the pimple, where the punctum is too much pointed, then you can think about this medicine as a doctrine of signature. That is a observation by Dr. Farrington. This medicine introduced by Dr. Murray, and he said about two medicines, Hura brasiliensis and Hura crepitans. Brasiliensis have multifold effect, skin, CNS, and crepitans has moreover purgative effect. But we prefer moreover Brazilians in our practice. As described before, peculiarity is that the equanimity is disturbed easily, and therefore all the fears, anxiety of losing reason or being poisoned or something evil happen. Ghost will take away, just like a Mencinella, one of the member of that family, will be left alone in the world. Hura develop from the slightest emotional changes, from the slightest type of the stress in their life. Now, case number 4. Now you know the medicines, but we try to correlate. The 30 years female software developer used to suffer from extensive psoriasis throughout the body, started earlier at the 14 years of age, and started from the scalp, then scaling and itching and burning and bleeding, and all the symptoms of the psoriasis aggravates in the winter, and applied too many moisturizers, allopathic medications. Nothing helped her. And because of that, frustrated and irritated. Again, problem in the GIT since 10 years, like acidity, retching, burning, constipation, used to take laxative. And she had also headache, migrainous type of pain, right side moreover in the temple since 7 to 8 years. Hammering pain starts about 10 a.m. and remain throughout the day with heaviness of eyelids. Also pain in the extremities, shoulder, lumbar pain, recurrent tonsillitis, difficulty in walking, swelling. She used to have epistaxis in childhood. Grandfather suffered from hypertension, grandmother hypertension, brother and paternal uncle suffered from psoriasis, and she has one younger brother. Personal history, thirstless, constipated, again sour smelling, discharge like earlier medicines. Menses difficult to wash off, leukorrhea again offensive, thermally hot. Life space and the mental generals. Now again, the father figure at the disturbance. Father was in army, used to come rarely, occasionally at home, and mother gave more preference to household work. Patient was much interested in study, and she was scholar. But mother used to say that you first give preference to household work. Mother often scold her. So she said that I didn't receive my parent love and started weeping again. She is conscientious, diligent, very sensitive to the suffering of others. She used to work silently, avoid quarrel, much worried about mother-in-law's health. Very rare. Mother-in-law's health, worried about. Why will come ahead? She never argue with sister-in-law, Jethani. What she give priority? That she said, I used to make a proper relationship. I love to make proper relationship. I do not like to disturb relationship. So the patient was too much diligent and silently work in home, used to complete her work and the job both, feels guilty when her mother-in-law has to do some household work because of her job or when she got too much dysmenorrhea. She do not give back answer, used to find fault in herself in any kind of dispute. What is my fault that my relationship get disturbed? Where I am at the problem. And you have autoimmunity, you are dealing with the case which is psoriasis. So definitely, as per Vijay Karsa's guidance, we have to find out autoimmunity. So there are the lots of things present. From the husband, I got the answer that she is very much caring, mild, complete her work properly. So it looks like magnesia again. I took the rubric, anxiety conscience, syphilitic entry, responsibility strong, and discharges are sour, leukorrhea, perspiration, menses, from essence of Bonnie Goossens, generalities. And I thought about different medicine one by one. And as per my thought process, I went to the magnesium muriaticum, which is the medicine, just like orphan and just like neglected, and the parents are problems, didn't receive the love from parent. I gave magnesium muriaticum infrequently. She improved up to a certain extent. Then gradually, after a few months, I shifted to 1M. I got somewhat result. Then patient got dengue, and then she also took abortive pills, and the gas disturbed. and again developed psoriasis. She returned after few months, and I again started with magnesium uratical. The patient stopped to respond. Now I restudied case. After knowledge of GNM, as our Dharmesh Bhai, GNM guru, I got the knowledge and I started to study about psoriasis. Dr. Hammer said it involves two separation conflict. One is an active phase causing flaky skin, another that is in the healing phase that causes inflammation. So two separation we seen here, first at the parents. But I thought that where is another separation? What is the problem? Why that problem started at 14 years of age, near about the teenage. Now in this case, two phases are overlap, and that's why this case is these are the cases which are difficult to manage. So we started to study the case again. The first phase on the scalp, about 14 years of age. Now at the 14 years of age, in the girl, what can be issue? We thought about the, yes, superior of the family. And we had history of a father very rarely come and the mother who torture her to do the household work. So yes, the disconnection from the parents is there. But what the things which started the problem, which initiate the problem? Why at the 14 years she started this problem? So we, as per usual parameters in this age, we asked the various question and we got the answer that she shifted to government school by her father because the government school has a further study and the older school has limited classrooms. So in the old school, there were three close friends. When I separated from them, I wept a lot. And while telling those things, she started again weeping. I asked, what did you felt? She said, it is just like a newly married girl in in-laws house. ऐसा लगता है जैसे कि कोई नई लड़की शादी करके तुरंत ही कोई जगह पे आई और एवरीथिंग इज स्ट्रेंज. I didn't knew everyone. I not connected with anyone too much. I missed a lot all my teachers, my friends, my school building. Then gradually lost bonding with my friends, the old friends. She requested many a time to the fathers that I want to go to the old school. But father said the friends are not important, study is more important. And she said it's my fault that I could not take my own stand. That is autoimmunity started. I could not take my own stand. And she said, even nowadays also, I used to feel angry on myself. It's my weak point that I could not take my own stand. I could not say what I want. At the new school, nobody liked to talk with her due to the disease condition. The psoriasis is extensive throughout the body, so people used to remain away from her. But one incident happened, touchy incidents, that one teacher who also suffered from psoriasis, she saw that girl, and the teacher approached her that I have a same story, I have a same kind of a disease condition. And then she started again interest in the society, interest in classroom, interest in the school, and settled. So it is after a few months. But on those earlier days, the psoriasis is already too much bloomed. So now at the in-laws house, the same things happen that her sister-in-law Jethani stopped communication many a times due to the disputes between them. Her sister-in-law didn't do not like to talk with her for the many a days in any kind. Even when she do not take her sister-in-law's preference, when there is a quarrel between Jethani and Sasu, sister-in-law and mother-in-law, and she used to keep mum. At that time, sister-in-law said that you didn't took my supports and you are wrong, and start talking in communication. She felt I am younger in my family, so I have to work more. I have a less priority. My words are lesser importance than others. So I took rubrics from that understanding that delusion, imagination, friend, beloved ones, affection has lost. That is directly we got from the patient. And despise feeling. In the earlier days by classmates, from the parents, from the even the other friends in the classrooms, and nowadays from the Jethani and in-laws sometimes, and reproach oneself, that is autoimmune rubric. And I came to medicines, that is again Hura. And after Hura, the patient marvelously improved as per the Herring's law of cure. Fifth case, last case, idiopathic urticaria with angioedema, the recent case. 9 years female, interesting story. Consulted on 22nd January. Itching and redness and swelling, too much edematous condition. Even she got too much fever in that urticaria, angioedema throughout body, too much swelling, developed vomiting, heat, and she need to give steroids. She need to admit because of this angioedema and these kinds of the too much urticaria. Used to take daily 2 antihistaminic tablet, though the urticaria was not in control. Then also pain in legs, sometimes even develop vertigo and dizziness because of too much antihistaminic dose. So it was a pathetic condition of that girl. The urticaria was not improving. So one of my friends referred me, and these problems since are 5 years of age. Now the patient is 9 years. So what we have to do? We have to again go to the mother history to find some problem. Yes, patient's history, disposition is also important. Appetite decrease, thirst less, aversion milk products, hot, perspiration scanty, life space, studious, mild, responsible, and much fearful child. Much fearful child. On the slightest reproach, she trembles and she go to the washroom. She rushes to the washroom and drop the things from the hand. When her mother gives slightest reproach, वो बोली कि मैं कुछ भी बोलूंगी, वो इतनी डर जाएगी, मुझे लगेगा कि वो मर ना जाए, ऐसा रिएक्शन देती है. सी ड्रॉप द थिंग्स, मम्मी मैं अभी नहीं करूंगी, कुछ नहीं करूंगी, सॉरी सॉरी सॉरी. शी इज स्कैर्ड टू मच. And mother said this kind of fear is present. Now, what is separation conflict? So at the 5 years of age, what happened? She was initially in kindergarten, and after 5 years shifted to the school, which is away from house, somewhat distance, and from morning to evening used to stay there. So do not want to go to the school after nursery, weeping, anger that can be seen but could not express, as mother said, developed urticaria. And mother said, I was just like her in my teenage. I was too much fearful and too much timid. Because there was no protection available, she said me. There was no protection available to me. So when any boy look at me when I am passing through the street, I used to go inside my house. I just went inside my house. And even after my marriage, when mother-in-law just call me by my name, and if I am wearing sari, sari will drop with my hand. This was too much fearful condition even after the marriage in initial days, mother said. So what is mother's life? Mother said that her mother died when she was only 5 years of age. That means our patient's nani. We are talking about mother. Why mother is too much fearful, having separation feeling, and reacted becoming as a soy in our case, and why that child developed too much angioedema and urticaria at the 5 years of age. So she said her mother died only when she was 5 years of age, and her maternal uncle brought to his house. And she returned back just before marriage. Up till now, she remained at the maternal uncle's home. Mama usko le gaye the because father could not manage. She felt that I became too much angry inside, but I could not share. I used to, in my before just my marriage, I used to apply mehendi, but I removed. Why? Because there was nobody to feed me. I have to work all these things. I have to work all my marriage work. And absence of mother, then I, from that days, what happened? Whenever I used to feel angry, I used to eat much more. I have to eat more. What happened in her married life? Husband is a driver, so used to remain away for many days away from the home. The sister-in-law and mother-in-law both were working women. So no one with me to talk. I have to remain silent throughout the day. I used to work silently and alone. I felt nobody was with me, aloof, alone. They only answer, that means mother-in-law only answer if I speak something. Otherwise, they are silently doing their work. I am doing silently my work. It is something like no one at my home. My life is not just like my own life. I want to speak, but nobody is there. Conception was difficult, taken many Ayurvedic and allopathic medications. She had too many dreams of snakes inside the water. She could not fill the bucket from the water tank because she has a delusion of snake and she's still scared of a huge water and the snake. And they did some religious rituals and she conceived naturally later on. So we can think about again autoimmunity, angioedema, because of this kind of a dreams. Throughout pregnancy, she had a vomiting and nausea and intermittent fever. At the 4th month, got also upper vaginal bleeding and need admission. So you can think about anger that present as a soil and why the child has too much redness, while child is too much having flushes. Silent grief, loneliness, anger, weeping throughout pregnancy. Repetization, delusion alone, and fear tremulous, that is from child disposition. And mother disposition also, fear tremulous, sorry, आत्माथी छोटी जाए. And child rush to the washroom when mother scold, drop the things. That is fear tremulous and imagination alone. The mother's feeling and also the child's feeling when went to the school. And the medicine like platina, stramonium, Rostox, sepia, and Hura. Hura, separation filling, our medicines. That is a case paper. I gave only 3 doses of 200. Then she got somewhat fever and all these things. We did report, but everything was normal. And on the 24th of 24th of February in 2025, that means just before few days, we got the follow-up. Absolutely fine, no antihistaminic, nothing given, no any kinds of steroids, nothing needed, and all the medication had been stopped and no angioedema at all. So what are the common trait and something we miss from this neglected remedy? We neglect. So these are the few sensitivity. Welcome, Dr. Suketu, sir, being a part of our lecture. Thank you for coming. So, Sora, that affection cannot demonstrate, confidence want of forsaken feeling, irritation, mortification, sensitive. Psychosis, we got some kinds of the fear of accident, evil happens, misfortune, tremulous, slowness, spoken aversion to being, remain alone. A writing desire for injustice about only one medicine, that is Ura, in their tubri. Writing desire, something injustice happened with them. So even they cannot express what injustice with them to someone. These kind of loneliness, this kind of aloofness, that nobody is with me, nobody is with my, to whom I can share. So used to write. This kind of a feeling is present. That is only one medicine. Then disputatious by Massimo Mangioliori. Syphilis, some psychosyphilis and syphilis. Anxiety concerns, evil impending heart, salvation anxiety, chaotic feeling, clairvoyance, mental work impossible, cursing, swearing, blasphemy. Yes, pulsatilla is very near, doctor, in that case, in that all these cases, because pulsatilla is again a neglected feeling. But pulsatilla is more sensitive and demand attention. But our medicine do not demand, remain in a silent zone. That is the main difference. Pulsatilla try to attract by her psychosis, emotional blackmailing. That is the difference. Death desire. So we can think that medicine, even in some higher syphilitic cases, advanced pathological cases. Confidence him and his friends have lost. This is a typical feeling in the Hura, that all their friends lost confidence in him. Dead persons sees deserted, forsaken. Fred, beloved ones, has lost, as we see in our case. Influence under powerful, lost salvation, repudiated by relatives, sees specter, ghost, and spirit. Wall around her. Why? Because nobody is there. Wall is around me. This kind of delusion. Everybody is just like a wall, blank. Worthless. Despise. Despair recovery and despair religious. The single remedy rubric, that is dreams animal of devouring meat in the market. Meat in the market. Devouring the animals. This is syphilitic condition. Body parts cut off. Building demolished. One again single remedy rubric, that is grave putting tapers on a tomb. टोम पे पत्थर रख रही है, ऐसा डिल्यूशन. टोम पे वो पत्थर रख रही है. सिंगल मेडिसिनल रुब्रिक. सो died. Nobody is with me in the world. Again that feeling. Guns, rifle, lewd, lascivious. Dreams prisoner release of. Typical prisoner release. Why? In the first case, can you remember the typical kind of second case sentence that I am in the cage? So it is a prisoner release. Dream. Ruins. Forgetfulness, fact for recent, payment, and usual. Person offended whom, hatred. Horrible thing affects husband aversion to. And indifference to family, one's husband and friends. Now, husband aversion to has only few medicines. One of these is Hura. Yes, up to certain extent, do not consider common. Laughing pain at their own. They laugh at their own pain. This is a autoimmunity. Mistakes making, writing in, transposing, misplacing words, reproaches oneself, sadness causeless, causeless sadness, sadness misfortune, intoxicated feeling, body parts pieces in, criminal that he is, and horror movie dash to watch. On one side, there is a too much fear, tremulous, and another side, they dash to watch horror movie, just like Mancinella. Mancinella is one of the family members of that plant. So those are syphilitic entry point. Now, if you go for the GNM, the what conflict we will find in this remedy, the common thing. In throughout this case, if you go through all 5 cases, the cassity, that is kidney collecting tubules conflicts, the location in the brain stem as abandoned feeling, existence, and refugee conflict. At the epidermis level, we knew all the cases are at the moreover in the skin area. Most of a touch problem, a touch loss from the parents, touch loss from the loved ones, friends. So sensory and cortex, the location is there with the cerebral cortex and the separation conflict. And when the separation conflict still continuous, what happened? It leads to the loss of memory and attention deficit disorder. Now remember the first case of bronchitis. Child has a lack of memory. And what are the rubrics that present in our medicines? What are the points? The lesson to be carried at home. The strong separation and neglected. Think about Hura when you think magnesium. Sourness of discharge and orphan feeling. Think about Hura when you think about chamomile and rheum. Again, neglected. You know about chamomile. Chamomile is prepared from one kind of weed. In earlier days, when farmer used to plug their farm, and they remove that weeds because it causes too much pain in calves. It causes cramp in calves. And later on, they valued that plant, that this plant is useful as a brain tonic. And nowadays, even you can find out the name of chamomilla tea in many green tea combination. So it is neglected again, chamomilla and rue. Pulsatilla, when you think about, you should think about Hura. History of difficult childhood. Whenever you have history of difficult childhood, think about Hura. When syndrome, KCT, from the GNM perspective, when the father figure is at the problem, Dr. Vijay sir said us that when the mother is figure at the problem, we have one medicine that is Thuja. So in our chem cases also, in higher syphilitic case also, we can think about that medicine when father figure is at the problem. Because we have a too many delusion and which are kindly syphilitic. So on those days, I didn't knew much more about the super causal aspect. Later on, I learned from the Amrish sir and our predictive team members. But if I went through the history nowadays for those type of cases, I definitely go to the mother and grandmother's history. And definitely there was some kinds of a strong syndrome or separation or brutal separation, something like that. The soil was there. Delusion, lost affection, despised, something was present. And ultimately syphilis journey started. So when father figured the problem, in those kind of syphilitic cases in our chem cases or whenever we deal with those advanced pathology in genetic mutation case, we can think about that medicine. Compare Thuja and Hura again. It is a great antipsoric. So this is one poem. When I learned the Hura, I created that. It is in Gujarati. Sorry for my friends. I knew there are the many friends from out states and even from France. There are the many friends from Rajasthan, Delhi, Bombay, the friends from Chhattisgarh. Uh, I try to convert in English. હતો દુનિયાદારીથી અંજાન ખબર નહોતી ખુદને પ્રેમ કરવો તે પણ એક કલા છે. That means I am unaware about the worldly affairs. I don't know to love oneself is an art. So that creation happened in my mind when I completely learned the Hura. If you want to study more, be with us. We have two channels, Happy Gujarat Surat, Happy Gujarat Rajkot. We regularly upload different video and there are the number of videos which are very learning points to predictive homeopathy. You can join, you can subscribe this channel. And one thing that I made a WhatsApp group, but I will create a broadcast list. I will remove that WhatsApp group, and because there are too many WhatsApp group in our phone book and we used to neglect many important things just like neglected medicine. So I will not keep much more this WhatsApp group and I will make a broadcast. Kindly save my number. We will deliver you any kind of message when we have any kinds of online lecture or this kind of workshop or any event that will be happen to Surat team, Rajkot team in predictive family members in predictive family group. And even there, the number of the physician and my seniors and my colleagues from our team members, Dharmesh Bhai, Suketu Bhai, Jitesh Bhai, Amit Bhai, my beloved friends Ashish, Priyul and Nirav, we will used to make this kind of online Zoom meetings in a Friday session. And we will have this kind of session. So kindly save this number and we will give you further information to learn more. So thank you, my friends. Thank you, my colleagues. Thank you, my seniors. If you have any query, any doubt, you can message me and even you can right now post me. I will try to answer. If you have a further query, I will even deliver you in your by the WhatsApp. Be in touch. So is there any query? Otherwise, we will discontinue this meeting, our session, after within 2 to 3 minutes. Thank you, Mukund bhai. Dr. Mukund Suvagia with us. Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Ketan Shah, one of the senior doctor from Junagadh. And there are the many friends from Junagadh with us. Thank you for being in that session. Thank you, Suketu sir. There are the many students with us. Dr. Takako from France. Dr. Priyul Bhai, our colleague and academic leader in Rajkot team. Umesh, Dr. Nirali, Dr. Brinda. I had many more cases of Hura, but I presented only those cases which are cured and improved. Right now, there are the many cases of Hura present, and most of them this kind of history. I am working with that medicines, but I didn't presented them because still they are in progress. What I said, those are all most of cured and improved cases. So thank you all my friends. We will stop our session.